Greetings, ladies, gentlemen, and others. Today you find us four weary travelers on a never-ending dirt road that lines the border between greatness and absolute garbage. A pilgrimage that all great fans of anime should one day travel down, but today it is our turn. We will ask many questions and receive many answers. Today's answer is B. I'm Tristan.
I'm Miles.
I'm Geoff.
And I'm Zach.
And this is Quest for the Best. Hello, everybody. We have a guest today. Zach, say hi.
Hi. My name is Zach. That's how I usually say it. Yeah.
And where are you from, Zach? Why do you think people might know you, if they do know you?
I'm from New York, so you might know me. I'm one of the 8 million people who live here. Or whatever it is, I don't know.
I mean, because everybody from New York knows everybody, right?
That's true.
That's how New York works.
That's true with Canada, too, right?
Yeah. It's literally true. Yeah.
You all meet at the Sim Hortons, and well, not anymore. I heard.
Well, no. We
still meet there. We just don't buy any of their food.
Yeah. Typically, we'll meet up at Niagara Falls. We'll meet up at Niagara Falls, and we'll be like, "Hey, come over to my cabin by the Rocky Mountains," and then we go over to the cabin by the Rocky Mountains,
ride some moose.
We might pick up dinner in Vancouver.
Yeah.
I'm Zach. I'm the host of the. I do want dinner in Vancouver with you guys, but no, I'm not inviting myself to that. I'm the host of the One Piece podcast. We've been talking about the One Piece manga and anime, more the manga, but I'll get into that later. Since May 2009, so we're going into our it's our 17th year, something like that.
Nice.
Before that. Should I go through my anime origin story now, or is that?
I mean, you might as well, because we did that back in the day, and in some cases it's pretty similar because I started making videos in 2009, so we're pretty aligned on that as old heads, which is weird to say now, but I mean, after doing it for 17 years, I kind of have to accept it.
Yeah, I think I was saying before we started how your podcast is specifically targeted to me, especially as someone the negative side of this is I don't know if I've seen 100 anime, but I probably have, because I was listening recently and you mentioned Scry. It's yeah, I've seen that. I just completely lost all memory of it. So maybe I'm not giving myself enough credit, but you guys all do this for a living. And so my journey started in around 1999 when Toonami, which is I think a lot of our generation in America. I made GeoCities websites, which thankfully probably don't exist anymore.
A lot of them still do.
Oh, don't tell me that. I was a moderator on Toonzone. If any of you ever frequented that, that's where I got. I hit my break.
That's a deep cut.
I don't usually go this deep into my origin story for reasons. But we're talking about anime, so I'm just going to put it all out on the table here. Do you remember the Aqua Teen Hunger Force bomb scare in Boston in 2003 or 4?
Yeah. With when they put the Moonanite, the little pixel displays on the side of the bridge.
Yeah, I wrote a story on that for Toonzone. That was the thing that my co-host likes to remind me about all the time. My big break that no one remembers, and I don't think really many people cared about.
It's kind of weird because that has stuck in my mind, and I think that as weird as this sounds, that was a radicalizing moment for me where I was wow,
yes,
America's way less cool than I've heard it is.
Yes, yes. I mean, things happened. That was after the Iraq War, or after it started. So I mean, everybody was aware. But
I was 9 years old when 9/11 happened. So I was just okay, whatever. I was young enough to not get the irony in Team America World Police the first time that I, to not fully get the irony in it. But I was oh man, these Americans, they're kind of squares.
I was both young enough to be similar, but old enough to watch Team America World Police and be hey, this is like Thunderbirds.
Yes.
No, I recognized it as Thunderbirds because they played Thunderbirds on Teletoon.
Yeah, they did. They
I
did.
could talk about Reboot for a while too, obviously.
Good.
Sorry,
Good.
The cat.
Because Miles can't, so
does
good.
Does that count as anime? Because
yes, Reboot is anime. There's the Pikachu episode, or there's the episode where they like do the Pokemon, like they plays Pokemon on his computer and it's all anime style and it's really bad. So it counts.
Finally, people of my generation who understand Reboot and the Aqua Teen Hunger Force bomb scare of 2004. To continue onward into my embarrassing journey through anime, the title of my memoir. So after that, I ran an Adult Swim website for Toon Zone and also did. Do any of you remember Toonami Digital Arsenal? We're really gonna cut into. So this was before YouTube. You used to have to take a VHS ripper and actually for like promos and stuff from Toonami, like rip those and put them online. I was obsessed with that as a kid. They all exist on YouTube now because we live in a golden era of something. Yeah. I did that for a lot of the Adult Swim stuff that you see from like the early aughts or probably mine. And that's a thing I don't also mention ever. So now there you go.
I love an exhaustive digital footprint.
Yeah, you're a media archivist.
I did the Adult Swim version of that and then gave it to them when I was done doing that because VHS capture was interesting.
Still is.
It still is. Yeah. It's no Laserdisc, what could be. So then after that, I headed to Skype and did a podcast for many years and continue to do that. If I could sell One Piece, but more as like the journey, and I know we're going to get into One Piece later, but for us, like our podcast, Miles, you've been listening to us for how long?
Well, I was listening for episode 1.
That's what I thought.
I was part of like the One Piece community at the time. And like I knew about half of you guys just from Arlong Park forums and stuff. So no, I was listening from the first episode, and it was like a part of my ritual is I would be part of. There was a Skype group where we used Keyhole TV to watch One Piece episodes live with Japan.
Jealous. I don't think I.
And there was like 15 of us, and we were all with listeners to the One Piece podcast too. And so we just watch One Piece live on Keyhole TV, and like commercials and all, like none of us spoke Japanese, but we knew what happened because we'd already read the manga chapter like 50 times. So like this was not like sometimes we'd have the manga open side by side to like compare so we could follow along a little better. But no, that was, and then afterwards I'd be like, all right, now I got to wait for the One Piece podcast so I can complete my weekly ritual.
I didn't know that. I mean, I knew you, I think when I first met you, which is a while ago, Miles. I know you said there's only 2 people I have met that are episode 1 fans, and that's you and Brian Newton, who was like one of the first animation directors of Rick and Morty and like messaged us out of the blue. Yeah. Now Steve, our co-host, is a storyboard artist on Rick and Morty. So that was a weird full circle moment.
Tell Steve. I guess I'll tell Steve next time I see him. But they've been doing good work on Rick and Morty the last couple seasons. Since
I need to catch up. I feel bad.
I think it's actually better since the change up. Like a lot of people complain about, people
complain about change.
Yeah, yes. In general. But like, I'm not up on the new season, but the last season had some really good episodes. I especially recommend the episode with the hole. It's
the hole's good.
Yeah, that's I think the best episode of the last season.
That was the last one I watched too. I haven't caught up since then. I haven't had the time. I've been watching too much anime, like a nerd.
I feel you. Yeah. But anyway, like for the journey for us on the One Piece podcast has been like a very, like, I've been on my own voyage, over the last 17 years. We did a documentary that I just put on YouTube in 2013 where we interviewed the creator of the series, H.R. Oda. I'm not trying to plug. It's just, this is like one thing that we did.
I mean, the whole point of you talking about you and your life is to plug yourself. So.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's all good.
Damn.
Go ham.
Oh. Okay. So Yeah, no, we interviewed like his homeroom teacher, which in Japan is a big deal, and like elementary school principal and middle school principal, and like, we visited the Barate, like that Barate was based off of in Kumamoto. We did other cool things. We interviewed one of his editors. Why am I forgetting that?
I was about to say that's the one I remember at the time. Yeah.
And an animation director at the time. But it was a lot of fun. It was mostly how the person in Japan that comes on our show, Greg, who you two were on with when I was deathly ill and couldn't make it on, not having fun, recently. Listen to episode 900 of our show if you want to hear Miles and Geoff and not Tristan, since we haven't convinced him yet. Talk about One Piece.
I mean, I'd come on the pod. It's just I don't see the point. You gotta actually. I'm there for the discussions and the talk. I guess I just don't have much to contribute talking about One Piece.
You just have to read One Piece, which is
agreed
the main thrust of this side quest. We are now going to essentially
here we go.
Press gang Tristan.
So I was thinking about this. We've talked before on how each of us got into One Piece at one point in time, or not got it into One Piece. And the one that kind of stuck in my mind is Geoff's story about how he was convinced by Miles at a Crunchyroll Anime Awards party. And I thought about that for a half minute because I was trying to think. I did read at least some of One Piece. I didn't get very far. I don't think I got past East Blue. Or if I did, I was only like a handful of chapters into Alabasta. How do you pronounce the
Alabasta?
Alabasta.
Oh, well, no, it's not.
How dare you?
How dare I?
I mean, the saga is technically called the Baroque Works saga. Alabasta is just the last island.
Well, actually.
No,
if
we're not actualing here.
No, it's not actually. If you got to Alabasta, you would still be reading One Piece.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because that was when you made it through Drum Island.
Yeah.
So anyway, point being is I had read some, and I was trying to remember when that was. And I was like, no, there was a time I remember reading a bunch of One Piece on a plane. And then it struck me, that was probably the exact same Crunchyroll Anime Awards. And it would not surprise me if I was part of the brigading to get Geoff to read One Piece because I was in the process of reading some One Piece on the flight there and back.
You might have
I can't confirm this, but it wouldn't surprise me if I was part of the conversation trying to convince Geoff to read One Piece.
We were tag teaming him because Sungwon was a really strong helper back then. This was like 10 years ago, so like I don't remember the exact conversation all that well. But like
it was like 5 years ago.
No, this was like
6.
No, 2018 at the latest.
This was one of the earlier anime awards.
That's 8 years ago.
It wasn't the most recent anime awards.
It was like
that we
7
together.
But there's been the time skip, so it's confusing.
Anyway, it's been a long time, and it's the nicest thing I've ever done for you. But like Sungwon helped me out, and other people were at the party and helped me out too. Because I'm like, Geoff, this is going to change your life. And then you did me one solid by getting me into Dungeon Crawler Carl. We like,
I haven't gotten into that either, Tristan. So
it'll change your life.
Do I want my life changed?
What have you been doing with One Piece the last 17 years?
I have not been changing my life at all.
Yeah,
it's called being consistent.
Oh man.
So that was what I thought of, and that was something that kind of lodged into my head. And now if that did indeed happen, we're now full circle of you trying to get me to actually go back and keep reading the thing.
I mean, Tristan, you are that man who turned around in the diamond mine in the meme, like.
Or do you mean the Simpsons one where he just like rotates straight out?
No. There's a meme of a guy like digging for diamonds, and there's two guys,
and he stops right before he reaches the whole chamber
and turns around, and he's like dragging his pickaxe. Yeah.
It's so hard to describe a meme sometimes.
Yeah, I mean the only difference with the meme is that
Captain Rogers understood that reference.
The tunnel is also made of diamonds. It's just less good diamonds that you went through to get to you almost got to. Again, I think if you had gotten to and through Alabasta, you would still be reading
100%
One Piece.
Yeah, that one is
like there's.
So I didn't make it that far.
Where did you make it? Do you remember what was happening? Like generally,
not a clue. Again, like if this is when we think it was like 7 or 8 years ago.
So
I remember what One Piece thing I was doing 7 or 8 years ago.
yeah.
Well, yeah, but this is a little bit different. But it's like I was trying to like I can't even say, hey, here's some of the Straw Hats that I know, because just being in the industry and being around anime, you just learn things through osmosis. So it's like, was I there during Sanji's introduction, or do I just know what happened when Sanji joined everybody? I don't know.
Do you remember crying when Luffy put the hat on Nami?
I didn't cry. So
where's your soul?
Either I'm dead inside, which is a viable answer, or I didn't make it far enough for that to be a matter.
No, so here's the thing with that. I think I've told the story, at least on the One Piece podcast, maybe not here, but like when my first time through One Piece, I was so resistant. I was guards up the
you've
whole
told this
time.
Because I've heard the story.
Yeah, I've heard the story, but that doesn't mean anything.
I like it when you are not intent, if you don't open your heart up, you can get past the whole all the stuff in East Blue without feeling very much. Like you might be charmed a little bit like I was, but like you need to really kind of let it in. And so for me, like Laboon and Drum Island are really what did that. Yeah. And I do think that it's like, oh yeah, just get through 88 episodes of an anime. Just 88 episodes, no problem, right? Like it's a hard case to make, but I do think it is worth it because it is One Piece.
I mean, you could not at this point pay me to watch One Piece because there's just too goddamn much.
Yeah,
I can get through chapters and volumes of manga at a reasonable clip. It'll still take like months to catch up to One Piece.
So I was thinking, because you're like an anime ranking podcast that ranks the best anime. I'm not going to say it as well as you did, Tristan, at the start.
I have a script. It's fine. It took me. I didn't come up with that on the spot.
I'm not trying to butter you up. I don't have a script. You didn't post the script, so I don't have it. The anime is like, so I feel like I have the entire One Piece community on my shoulders, and a lot of them are very vocal and could get angry. So I'm going to just pretend that those people don't exist. I don't think they listen to us anyway. But I think the anime is a tough sell to put on your list. Like, I get that. The problem is it's like bookended by like some of the greatest anime stuff ever. And in the middle of that sandwich is just awful. Like some of the worst stuff that I've seen in anime. And like, how do you like, I think you guys, I said it like when I first came on the call, I don't mean to be parasocial, but I do listen to you guys all the time.
Thank you very much.
My 1-year-old is probably going to pick up some things from this podcast, and I have to apologize to her ahead of time.
It's a good thing I do my best to cut out swears someway.
Well, I would not listen.
I still recommend it for children. I wouldn't have my girls listen to the podcast.
It's good for like 2 and under, but not
once they. Yeah.
2 to 18. I don't know what you recommend here, but what was I getting? Okay,
I mean, so when my eldest was a toddler, she watched JoJo with me, so it's fine.
Interesting choice.
It was 3 a.m. I was keeping her company. This was like she was like 3 or 4 months old.
I watched Fist of the North Star with my 3-month-old, so that's equally nice. Yeah. That was my 70s thing that I was doing at that point. So
we all had those moments.
What I was going to say is, so the One Piece anime like is hard because it's an 1100 episode thing. And you guys were talking about like even separating Lupin and JoJo and like, but the thing is One Piece is also one cohesive narrative.
It's all one season. Yeah, it's all one season.
Okay.
Well, not
it's
anymore.
Just season 1.
But that's kind of BS. It's a fun thing to say.
But it is kind of one cohesive production that like it's been Ship of Theseus out with like different people coming in and, probably none. I don't know how many of the people currently working on it worked on it at the beginning, but.
So not
having seen it, did One Piece the anime version have like any sort of character design reboot similar to what Pokemon did?
Oh, absolutely.
Sun and Moon.
Yeah,
was it Sun and Moon that Pokemon swapped?
I mean, so
no, like very clear. This was like a different design of the same character. Because I know it's slightly different because One Piece is based off of a manga and they're using the manga essentially as a.
But there was there's
Skypiea.
there's the. From what I've seen of it, there's the style development that matches the manga, but then also there was like a very conscious design reboot with Wano.
And Water 7, you could even like that era is a very, when they went to HD like before everyone else.
Well, they had to, so there were updated character sheets that I've seen for at least Skypiea and Water 7. And Wano was a just complete visual reimagining of the show.
Well, they like a brand new staff entered that. We had sorry, go ahead.
Well, it was like a new director, new character designer, and new animation director, but you know it better than I do, I'm sure.
Well, we had Henry Thurlow, who was an animator on a lot of the Wano and Onigashima stuff, and a director. And he came on recently to talk about the supervising director who recently passed away, who was like one of the pioneers of this post Wano period, which the anime has just been, I believe the kids say, peak. It's been great. It's just like a beautiful looking.
I've played that game.
It's been, we called it like an animator's playground. It's just been like almost like Space Dandy-esque. I feel like where it's just like, let them go crazy, good, bad, whatever. They get to do whatever they want. And the One Piece of the teens, like the 2010s particularly, it's been in like three, 4 decades at this point. But of that time was like, okay, Toei is going to just shift its money around to other things and not really give One Piece money because people are going to watch it anyway, even if it looks like crap. And even if the people are trying to put together a good show, and then the first few seasons, or whatever you want to call it, are gorgeous. And I think like when I watched it initially, I binged everything through. I just remember watching Alabasta during a Thanksgiving Day weekend. And I'm just like, oh, if only DBZ had this like lack of filler. This is just such like a, although there is filler, don't get me wrong. But it just felt like
it's a shonen.
It felt so consistent for a shonen that was produced weekly for so long. Like
it's for 200 episodes, really.
Yeah. Through at least all of Water 7, I'd say.
Which is, I mean, that's longer than like Bleach was that consistent when it started, and then it really fell off.
Yeah. The bounce stuff, wasn't that the?
Yeah, the bounce. But I mean, even during the Soul Society arc, you can feel them like stretching it out, right? And
that's still the good part.
It is still good, but it's.
I mean, that's the only Bleach I watched besides what I have now seen of 1,000 Year Blood War.
How is that? I haven't. I mean,
1,000 Year Blood War is great. No, the new anime. You should actually check it out because they're redoing the ending.
Good. It's only a hard to watch.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily recommend it if you did what I did and you like dropped off immediately following the Soul Society arc, because there are other things with like the Alan Cars and that show up, and I'm like, oh, I don't know any of this. There are characters who's like, hey, we remember you or something, and I'm like, I don't.
I really aesthetically loved Bleach. Even if not, yeah.
Have you read the manga?
Yeah, I was just saying I hate Reddit for a long time.
You hate Reddit? That's
Reddit.
I mean, we all hate Reddit.
I like, man, I think
I was disappointed reading it. I don't know what the word is.
Really? I think the manga is like one of the later half. I can see that with, because Kubo was getting very tired by the time he got to the end of 1,000 Year Blood War. I think like in terms of layouts and graphic design and the cinematic flow of the fights, it's one of the best things that's ever been published in Jump.
It has merits. I just, as your shirt suggests, I would prefer Yu Yu Hakusho. Like, it just feels like it's just such a complete lift of that. But like, not to say I don't enjoy Kubo's like designs and the anime particularly. I loved all the Spanish influence that did like in the music and all that. I like really, or I don't know specifically the style, but I definitely have a fondness for Bleach, but I was very disappointed, particularly in the manga, like Arrancar onward. Or the Hueco Mundo. That's wow. I pulled that out of the back of my head.
Yeah.
That point onward, I was just disappointed.
It was too drawn out for you, or
no? Well, yes. It felt like it was like stretching. If you want to listen to our 2009 episodes of our podcast when I was like 23 and very immature
and going through it,
yeah, we made fun of it a lot. Just like there were just like I just remember the one page that was just completely black ink and like one word. And I'm like, Kubo, come on, you could take a break or something. What are you doing here? That's kind of how I felt. I'm sorry, Geoff, man. I feel like I'm putting you in the defensive.
No, that's fine. Like that's some of my favorite stuff when he goes avant-garde like that. Cause like to me, the appeal of the manga is just like him playing with the form as much as he does, you know. Every single Bankai has a new piece of calligraphy attached to its name and everything. But
you're
I also
Bleach. That's not how this is supposed to work.
This isn't how it's supposed to work. But like, yeah, I when I went through and read it a couple years ago, I was like, damn, this is like, in terms of visual storytelling, the best thing I've read on the Jump app so far. And like, I'm a big like obviously big Yu Yu Hakusho fan. And, you know, my first time going through Bleach, I had similar thoughts where I was like, you know, I do kind of wish this was Yu Yu Hakusho. Like I'm appreciating my favorite part the first time through
for most time.
Yeah. My favorite part the first time through was the early part where they're like hanging out in the real world. And it's kind of like an alternate take on Yu Yu Hakusho. But the funny thing is, Kubo does not like why can't I remember the Hunter x Hunter writer's name? Togashi. Yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't particularly like Togashi, and he said specifically, "I wasn't influenced by Yu Yu Hakusho."
That sounds like something someone would say if they were influenced by Yu Yu Hakusho.
No, if they were influenced by Yu Yu Hakusho.
No, the thing is, they both separately drew heavily on magical girl and shoujo stuff, and the thing is that they're drawing from completely different wells of shoujo influence. Like Bleach is a magical girl manga, and if you understand it in those terms, it's like, oh, okay, I see everything that he's pulling here and how he arrived at basically the same point as Yu Yu Hakusho. But Yu Yu Hakusho was originally inspired by like sad, dramatic one-shot shoujo where it's like, oh, here's a little story of a sad little ghost girl who's, you know, trying to pass on. And, you know, then it got into the fights and stuff. It got more Dragon Ball-y as it goes. And the anime version cuts out a lot of the early manga stuff where it's like, oh, there's this little kid. He's got the ghost of his dog watching over him, but we gotta move the ghost of the dog on and stuff like that.
Yeah, like not having seen again all that much Bleach, comparing that with Yu Yu Hakusho and then comparing that to the genres. Bleach always felt more like it was pulling from magical girls from the 80s, and like Yu Yu Hakusho felt like it was more like Princess Knight from way, way back in the day. Both ostensibly magical girls, but they're from such different eras that their sensibilities are very different.
You've completely changed my perspective on Bleach. Like, that's a crazy thing. You just like shifted my world around. Magical. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That fits. Why have I never seen that?
Rukia is like Kyubey.
Yeah, a little bit.
She shows up and bequeaths like the magical girl powers. You know, there's a transformation sequence.
And then Kon takes over that role after Rukia's like, after you find out that Rukia's like, one of my favorite
things. Rukia's the real magical girl.
Well, no, one of my favorite things about Bleach is one, Rukia is just a bro to Ichigo.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't ship them. But
I do like that.
But two, she's a dumbass. And most of the stuff that she explains about the power system at the start is wrong. She's like a D student Soul Reaper. That's like her backstory. So all of
which also fits so well within the magical genre. I am not joking.
Yeah, but yeah, no, that also kind of makes sense because that why Kubo would
is this just
hate Togashi? No,
it's the narcissism of small differences.
No,
right?
no, because Togashi got to marry the creator of Sailor Moon, and probably Kubo's like, you bastard, you got that.
I was thinking that. Yeah, that's Kubo does seem like probably the person to harbor those sorts of grudges, maybe. But like, you know, maybe I always thought that the Bleach anime really did as much justice to it as possible, but maybe they should have just shoujofied it because
if you tried to tell me that Kubo did not watch Sailor Moon before writing Bleach, I would not believe you.
Yeah.
No, you've really, I mean, like I've had decades of like resentment for Bleach, and I feel like you've just,
I mean, I'll take that back. Technically he wouldn't have watched Sailor Moon. He would have read Sailor Moon.
He would have read Sailor Moon, but yeah. Probably also watched it though.
So Zach, now do what they did. Do what they did to you. But for One Piece to Tristan,
Well, Geoff, if Geoff could have convinced you, I have no shot, apparently. I'm just
I mean, I have been watching, like, I've been making content about anime since 2009. I've been watching before then. I have heard 1,000,001 different explanations and reasons as to why I should be either reading or watching One Piece. Nothing has worked yet, mostly because you have that barrier of, I need to read, like, how many chapters is East Blue?
No,
like 80, 90 chapters?
Like 15 volumes, yeah.
50% of the anime internet probably understands. Whoever does not read One Piece on the internet to understand or watch.
Or the people who skipped all that and just got to the good stuff.
You can't really skip.
You can't
it's not like Detective Conan where you can just go to whatever you want to read.
Are you sure there aren't people that exist in this world that got into One Piece because it was airing on television and they just started wherever it was?
Oh no, there's tons of people like that. Yeah. They're just wrong.
Like that's how I got into Dragon Ball.
But Dragon Ball you can do
Dragon
that.
Dragon Ball's different,
like Dragon Ball, like
what context do you need for the Saiyan saga?
Yeah,
nothing.
Yeah,
Goku's cool as shit.
Yeah. He's just this cool guy.
Spoiler alert for Dragon Ball Z, but the protagonist dies in like the first 5 episodes. It's pretty cool. I mean, yes, you follow him, but.
Yeah,
you follow him still, and then his son's also like a co-protagonist, and he goes off and has his training.
Until he's not.
Until that wasn't really pulling well with jump readers, so he like changed the direction of the story for the final arc.
That still annoys me. I love Gohan, and he's done dirty in that series.
Yeah. I mean, like Dragon
at the end. Yeah.
But I also think Dragon Ball is not like a great Tristan core thing, because Tristan's philosophy with anime, which he repeats all the time, is that the ending is paramount, right?
Oh, well, then I can't give you anything.
And yet I have this on my shelf, but I don't have One Piece on my shelf at all.
Why do you have an orange brick on your shelf?
But I've told him about this. He knows. He knows better.
In fairness, it's the only one I own. I bought it for a prop.
So
it's a good prop.
My pitch, it is a good prop.
My pitch to Tristan. Is so you believe fundamentally that the ending is paramount in anime, right? That's the most important part, is to have a good ending. And that's why
not necessarily the most important in that respect. It's the most important in that a bad ending can ruin an otherwise perfect show.
And a good ending can elevate
but not necessarily save. Just make it a lot more tolerable.
So like the thing is, I would recommend reading the manga over watching the anime, because like 100%. We've all said, the anime has a rough patch of like 600 episodes.
I would watch the anime for like the first, because I see Miles
200 chapters.
For the first 200 episodes or something.
And then skip to Wano. But read the manga.
Ideally.
Like if
actually Whole Cake. So look, Whole Cake was before the changeover, but it was where they were testing out whether the changeover would happen. I remember being on an episode of the One Piece podcast during Whole Cake, and everyone dropped off. No one wanted to talk about the anime, but I'm like,
that happens every week.
This week's episode was, I know. I don't even listen that far.
I've seen some stuff of the Katakuri fight and like the OPs, and there's some good stuff there.
Yes. Except I hate that opening with a passion.
Yeah, it's a really bad opening.
It's a very bad. Which again,
there's some good animation in the opening, but I'm trying to.
No, I'm not. Yeah.
But I'm trying to wait. Maybe I'm thinking of a different one.
To get back to Tristan, convincing Tristan.
So the ending is paramount with One Piece that has no ending. Yes.
No. Here's the thing.
Yeah, when he dies.
No. Here's the thing.
It'll be Berserk.
Tristan.
I hope not.
Yeah.
I think that philosophy is a big. I think that philosophy is a big reason that you're not as into shonen as I am. For example, you're not.
I mean, I like shonen, but there's only a handful of shonen that have actually ended.
But also having good endings, right? Like Yu Yu Hakusho.
You're wearing the shirt of one.
Yeah, exactly. And
I have like 3 different copies of FMA that is like.
FMA has a great ending.
Right there.
This is what I'm saying, right? Like you can name probably you can count on one hand, right? How many shonen you really love, like how do you feel about Soul Eater?
I mean, I really wish that they brotherhooded it.
Yeah.
And that's hard to say because arguably the anime is better than the manga because the manga dipped off at a point. But I really did enjoy it when I watched it. I don't know how much I would enjoy it on a rewatch now because it's been like a decade since I watched Soul Eater. We don't talk about not. I think you have it in you to enjoy One Piece just based on liking Soul Eater. But also, here's the thing. While it hasn't ended yet, Oda believes that the ending is if not paramount.
Within
the next 5 years, he says every year.
But
that's a lie. Yes, but
he's also said explicitly.
He might have already ended it by now, but maybe it's jumping and keeps pushing him.
No, he wouldn't. He has enough power to make it.
He'd be totally fine.
He can do whatever he wants.
He doesn't want to end it. He's having too much fun. That's the problem.
Nobody is a bigger fan of One Piece than Oda.
That's true.
That's good. But that's actually a good reason to.
Yeah. He loves, like, he talks all the time about like how he's like drawing emotional scenes and he makes himself cry while he's working on the most emotional.
The emotion of the character.
To like draw it out better. So the thing is, Oda also believes that the ending is paramount and has said that his goal with One Piece is to make a shonen with a good ending. Like, he's literally said those words.
Like, saying it in such a way that he does not believe that any shonen has yet had a good ending such that he plans to make.
I don't know, like that sort of thing.
I don't know which interview you're referring to.
I remember reading this somewhere.
I'm not doubting it.
But like, I can't cite the text off the top of my head.
Come on, Geoff,
like,
what do you...
he's had the ending planned for a really long time, and I can't remember. But
Geoff, not only is the ending paramount, but so is the midpoint arc,
which is also peak.
Oh my god!
That's
a dad joke. If I remember. That's the name of the arc, Tristan.
yeah, the Paramount War. But
I have to explain the joke. Right?
It is also.
I appreciate.
It is also peak. But yeah,
it's really good.
Because it's Paramount.
Yeah, I got the joke for that too. That was on purpose. I don't know.
But
sorry.
All I'm like One Piece has all been building toward a pre-planned conclusion from the beginning, and he does. Oda was very influenced by Toriyama, right? He like brings in his style of like adventure comedy really well, but like he is somebody who probably wasn't satisfied with how the Boo saga tied off, and was like, I want to make an ending that builds on everything that's come before. And that's why you can't skip parts of One Piece, because it all feeds into, I mean, we're only just at the start of the ending and there's already so much coming back.
I'm going to take a step back.
So we're on the final season, but we still have the final season part 2, part 3.
I don't think this is
part
the way.
4.x.
I don't think this is the way to sell it, especially to non shonen fans, like because DBZ.
Well, I mean, if you're a shonen fan, it's not a hard sell. It's really
you'd be surprised because it is, as we said, 1,100 to 1,200 chapters as of because like
it's
even
the
if
one
you're
that
a
has
fan
survived.
of something, jumping into it, because Dragon Ball I don't think is a good like comparative series. I think Full Metal Alchemist personally, as a gigantic fan of that, is the closest storytelling kind of ability, like where he clearly. Look, does he retcon stuff? Sure. But he's I've been saying on the podcast recently, he is the best retconner you've ever seen because he could make it look like he has been thinking of something from the beginning, even if he wasn't. And we wouldn't know. That's, I think, the best of.
And I think part of his skill with that comes from the fact that there is stuff that he's been thinking of from the beginning that he's still holding off on revealing because he's got that like patience to be like, I want this to have as much impact as it possibly can when I finally
I know what
drop
you're
it.
thinking of right now, Geoff, because I think you mentioned it when you were on our show too. But
do you know what's stuck in my head though, in the way that you're talking about this, is the people that I've seen for other things that get really, really into them. Like the Duffer Brothers know exactly how Stranger Things is going to end, and then the same people that are just like, oh, didn't you know there's a super secret ending of Stranger Things. You guys got to just wait for the secret lost Sherlock episode. You just got to wait. It's gonna come. It's gonna be there.
Tristan, I was a Lost fan. I have PTSD over that.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
I mean, like, I was really a Lost fan, like to the level I am for a One Piece fan. Like, I really I listened to podcasts about it in 2005 when that was really weird to do. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go. I Lost is like the perfect example of the
don't do that
manipulative power of the mystery box. You know,
yes.
Thank
you.
Absolutely.
No. Doctor Who is much better at doing a bad job of that.
No, I like the thing is like Sherlock.
Okay.
Sherlock is
Sherlock's
like really
the worst.
Sherlock.
You're gonna find out. You're gonna find out next season what it's all about, and then
Moriarty's back again for the 4th time, even though he died years ago.
But Tristan, I think the thing about One Piece is, yes, there is that overarching story, and whether or not that has a good ending is, of course, important. However, even though it does have a cohesive narrative, each of there are like smaller stories, and then there are even smaller stories within those stories. Those all, I know, have satisfying endings. Those have rounded off, which is why if you give it, particularly the manga, and I know we've already mentioned that is what we're recommending. My pitch to it is, yes, it's 11 to 1,200 chapters, but every single person who reads those 11 to 1,200 chapters, who were bothered just like you are right now into reading it, get to the end and say, I need more. Where's the rest of this? How is this over already? And then they listen to us for some reason, and they start from the beginning of our show, which is like, wow, you really need One Piece, I guess. Okay.
They reread it with your show and also hunting for Panda Man in every single chapter.
Oh my God, yeah. There's like infinite. The amount of detail and that Oda does, not just in what you're talking about, like little Easter eggs and stuff, but his storytelling is pretty untouchable, in my opinion. Has he made arcs that I don't like? Yes. Has he made arcs that make me weep every time I watch it or read it? Yes, also.
On that note, like we were talking about Star Trek before the call started.
Of course.
And on like rewatch, I skipped the first season of TNG.
Yeah.
Pretty much, right?
That's a respectable opinion to have.
Yeah.
I don't skip the second. I know people who do, or they'll just watch a couple episodes like the Data episode, but like, I think that's a totally fine way to experience TNG.
Yeah.
When I ever go back to reread or rewatch One Piece, I haven't rewatched it. I've watched episodes again, but like I've reread it. I don't skip anything, and I don't feel compelled to skip anything. And I think that second part is really the important part, because there's no arcs I don't like other than Fishman Island. Like, I still don't like Fishman Island. But
it's the storytelling. Yeah, I'm not going to get into that. That's a whole other topic.
Yeah,
I get
that's
it,
fair.
That's a
But,
reasonable opinion. Yeah.
There's an argument that One Piece is just like 15 of the best complete stories you'll ever see, back to back to back to back, that all build on each other. Like, you know, like the dream of what a serialized action story could be. Action-adventure story could be.
Yes,
it's like the peak run of Tintin for much longer
I need to watch that as an adult.
For you Swedes from the 1960s listening.
Or read the original comics. Read the original comics. Like
I should.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steven Spielberg, if you're listening, this is our pitch for One Piece to you. and
yes, watch the Tintin movie that also
Man.
had a script written by Stephen Moffat of Sherlock fame, bringing that back.
Steven Spielberg should direct an episode of the One Piece live action show. That would like, it's spiritually the closest thing to. No, was Hook Spielberg?
Oh,
yes.
Also,
Hook. To
Hook is Spielberg.
Hook, like it's
he didn't like it though.
That's fine. He still made it, and it's still
true.
like aesthetically,
Classic.
that's the closest thing I can think of aside from Muppet Treasure Island to what they're doing on the One Piece show. Which are you watching the One Piece show at least? The live action show? No, Tristan.
No.
It's actually really good.
The way I pitch that is, if you were a mom, it's perfect for you. The moms love the One Piece live action show. Lots of hot guys. Totally. I get it. With great accents.
And one Hawkeye.
I said several. Just one?
No, he was making a
lots of hot guys and one Hawkeye.
Oh, okay. Sorry. It's the heated rivalry for pirates. No. Well, I don't think.
You saying that the One Piece thing is great for moms just reminds me of the bombshells that I ran into this week, where everybody on the internet is repeating Dispatch is just Twilight for guys, and I'm like, oh, yeah,
I should play that.
You should play Dispatch. Dispatch is real good.
I only say it's for moms is because of anecdotal evidence I have that the One Piece live action moms love it. Every mom I've heard about, which are many, I guess, love the One Piece live action. So
my childhood best friend never watched anime other than Miyazaki with me, but we would watch a bunch of European art films together. We watched we had this one day when we were in 10th grade watching 24 hours of movies just so we could do it. We watched hundreds and hundreds of movies together. It was one of our favorite things to do. We'd go hiking in the morning and then watch movies all night. That was our life during the summer. And he did not like anime. And this was our one big splitting off point. But somehow he got into One Piece 2 years ago, got obsessed with it. Now he just texts me about One Piece every once in a while. And he's like, why did I'm like, yes, this is what I was obsessed with in high school when you were just no, let's go watch Tarkovsky. And I'm like, fine. Right? And now he's obsessed with One Piece too. And he got his 65-year-old dad to watch the live action. And now it's his 65-year-old dad's favorite show.
That's incredible. I've heard a lot of those stories, by the way. Because whenever, at least, our other host will come back and say, hey, I've been trying to get this person to read it, and now they're out of the blue texting me about the latest chapter or something. What, you didn't even tell me, man? I do a podcast about it. I am the hardest sell on any series. I would rather go back to DS9 and rewatch that, as we just talked about, for the 80,000th time. But so I had to really be 300 episodes at the time. I had to be convinced. Oh God, that's really long. 300, whatever it was. But once I did, it sounds like I'm trying to sell a drug here, but once I did, I didn't regret it. But I think the best I know it's not the destination, it's the journey is a very tired thing to say. However, with One Piece, well, it's a whatever. It's
a cliche, but it's a truism more than a cliche as far as I'm concerned.
But
it's a cliche for a reason.
I don't know how long we're going to talk about. I don't want to keep us off of the main topic too long.
We'll move shortly.
I'll at least end my pitch on, for us doing 17 years of podcasting, it's like really changed my life. And obviously not everyone is going to go out there and start a One Piece podcast, though many have, especially recently. But, you know, all my groomsmen were from the podcast. I took 2 trips to Japan because of that, because of the show. It shaped my life in so many important and pivotal ways. And also none of that needed to happen. It would still be such a great journey to have, because it's like really the only piece of media that like eternally feels like you're sharing with your friends as it happens. Because it was there in 1997. It's, you know, it was there when Miles was on Skype talking to his friends, watching through, I forget the program's name. Sorry. We'll give a shout out to that later. And it's here today. And a lot of the reactions I see from people on the internet is, I'm so blessed to be in a time where I could still watch or read it while it's still going on. And though reading week to week has its own pitfalls, don't get me wrong, it is really fun being part of a community like that. Especially if you get to like kind of choose your own One Piece community, or even if it's just like the 3 of you talking about it, you know, like you do with all your other anime. But like being able to experience that week to week, that's my pitch. That's the reason I love the series. I'm also very hopeful that the ending is good. And if the ending is bad, I will be very disappointed. Don't get me wrong, Tristan. I
have, considering how well he's ended 15 different stories so far, I have full faith in Oda to deliver.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's any ending to an arc that I really dislike. And that's maybe a topic for another day, but yeah.
I mean, the most anticlimactic ending to an arc also is the best ending to an arc, which was the best arc, Thriller Bark.
Thriller Bark is very underrated. I think recently it's been coming back up, but the manga for that is like some of his most beautiful art. It's just
so he goes to like a
sorry, Tristan.
There's a style shift to make it more like horror manga and it's so good.
What's great is Oda knows he's never going to make another manga after this, so he's doing all the styles of manga he ever wanted to do. He's making all the stories that are in his head, and he just is putting it on these characters, and sometimes not enough on these characters, and the secondary characters become the main characters, and you're watching a whole other series, it feels like. But it's still amazing that I've never seen anything like it. It's just like, I'm going to pour my whole brain into this and all these different genres, get it all out there, and somehow also make it a really cohesive story over the course of 27 years.
It's the closest thing in the manga and anime space to Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about J.R.R. Tolkien, but yeah, it sounds right.
Tolkien spent like 30 years.
Or Star Trek. It's like Star Trek.
You know?
That's probably not a good pitch considering Star Trek at present.
Yeah.
It's like Star Trek in the 90s.
It's Star Trek in the 90s.
You have to say it like that.
So, technically, this is a terrible time because not only are we going to finish this podcast and I got to edit this podcast, but then I also got to finish my own seasonal video and all that other work. However,
it's open to the first page.
It's open to the first page.
Now,
Chapter 1.
My one caveat is those were translated in the early 90s. Or not, I'm sorry, early 2000s.
That's on the Shonen Jump app, whichever version translated.
They add some pirate speak. Please ignore it. It goes away. That's really the only manga caveat, I feel like. I mean, there's some translation stuff that there's some bad choices.
People don't like, I
got
Zolo.
That one I can't handle.
I got heat for that because I called him Zolo in my first video because I'd only read
I'm sorry.
I got so much heat. I was like, oh, okay, Zolo. Like I figured it's the manga translation. That's got to be more correct than
Skypiea is where
it's really not.
Skypiea is the most egregious issue of the translation because it's supposed to be about. I'm not really spoiling. You're going to forget what I'm saying, I think. But it's about like God and like, it's about like religion and that, it's like kind of a examination of that. And they use kami instead because they were afraid of pissing off Americans, I assume. So you could ignore that, Tristan, when you get there, because now you started and there's no way to stop, even though you have to edit and all that.
Yeah.
And I don't have time. So the chances of me actually picking up my iPad again anytime in the next week is very low.
Our translator does a reread every couple years. He does 3 chapters a day. You could totally do that.
Yeah, bring it. Just leave it in the bathroom. Leave it in the bathroom.
Bathroom's the place to read.
Yeah. And then do a couple chapters at bedtime.
And then when you're 50 and you have hemorrhoids, you can thank Oda for them.
I do every day.
With that,
this is the part of the podcast where we say, "Hey, give us money." We have memberships open on YouTube.com. You can go to YouTube.com, click the membership button. You will get exclusive bonus episodes. Not anything related to the list. We learned our lesson on that. Trust us.
all bonus stuff all the time.
We also do, we post a rough schedule of what we're going to be doing. It's not a permanent schedule, just because we're afraid of commitment, but we want you to understand.
Not afraid of you.
Yeah, no, the thing is, if you're giving us money, we feel like you will be a little bit more forgiving of us to change up the schedule a bit from time to time. The next step, when we lock in a next episode, that's going to be the next episode. But when you get the schedule, you can be like, okay, I can plan out some time. And even if we end up not watching a specific anime that you have already watched for a given episode, you can be like, well, I watched a good anime. That's the worst that you get out of it. So give us money, read the schedule.
And also, we're absolutely going to go back to it anyway.
Yeah, and we will get back to it eventually. Yeah.
And if you're an audio-only listener, you have never heard an ad on this show, unless your podcast app is rude. So, we never asked for money. We're doing it right now. That's my pitch.
YouTube memberships.
YouTube memberships.
And
YouTube memberships.
YouTube memberships.
And now back to our regularly scheduled orb. So for our main quest today, the whole reason that we're all here and we watched a whole bunch of anime beforehand coming in, we are watching Orb on the Movements of the Earth. It's a fantabulous series for us to talk about immediately after talking about 100 meters, considering both were written by the same man, the same dude, and the same characters.
Unfathomably wise 24-year-old manga artist, or however old he is.
That's
he might be 25.
Wow. Or he was
28. He's 28.
But he was 24.
He was 24 when he wrote it.
When he started, yeah.
Jeez.
Which is
what did I do when I was 24? Not that.
The One Piece podcast.
Shit, that is what I did. Yeah. Shit.
Law school, maybe. I don't know.
I did that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
So technically, I did say pre-call that I was going to briefly mention this on the cast. This is our combined, the three of us, our second time attempting this because fun fact into the background of this, we did do a recording of Orb for the podcast prior. It was supposed to be the first video of the Japan arc. So that would have ended up being episode 4 or episode 5 of the entire podcast total. But due to reasons that we don't need to get into, that didn't end up happening. So that whole episode got scrapped, and we told ourselves, well, we have to come back to Orb eventually, because we even determined then, yes, it's going on the list. We just need to figure out exactly where. But we didn't know exactly when we would come back. So then, Zach, you saying, hey, we'd want to talk about Orb. We were like, perfect. We have an excuse to come and talk about Orb, and then we don't feel like we're literally trying to repeat ourselves from 10 months ago.
And
not that I remember that conversation anymore. And anyway,
yeah. Full circle, I watched Orb because of you guys talking about Orb, probably because you had recorded it. And then you're like, oh, we'll talk about this at some point.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah. Not to fourth wall this, but
I think we called back to it in the second episode or something like that. Or what became the first episode of Japan arc. We were probably
I don't think we fully decided when to cut it until probably after the Japan arc had finished. Because I think I was still sitting there with what we had being like, maybe we can salvage this.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until after I was like, we can't salvage this.
The one of the files got corrupted, and Tristan was like, I can recover this from the laptop.
It's still good.
Maybe.
And
it's still good.
Not.
It's not.
It was
It's
not. But we were still in that cope phase when we recorded that episode, so you probably heard it there.
Yeah.
So Zach, why, while we're still in the spoiler-free section of our orb discussion, why is this an anime you wanted to talk about as a list contender?
So,
what do you like about this title?
I was talking. Well, first of all, the title's great. The short version and the long version. Just hearing that makes me happy. Chi, or Full Metal Alchemist.
Full Metal Alchemist.
Full Metal Alchemist. Sorry,
I had to hold back so hard from not doing it.
Yeah.
There were already two. You can't do a third one.
Yes, you can.
Well, now you can't because you've had this whole discussion about it.
Full Metal Alchemist.
No,
Full Metal Alchemist.
Damn it, you stepped on my chance! Tristan, you bastard!
He's right to be angry. You only get one chance at that. So I was talking to Geoff, actually, because we were, first of all, watch his, I forget the exact title of your video, the One Piece in the global, I don't want to misquote it, but watch Geoff's video on the global reach of One Piece in the revolutionary times that we are in.
The politics of One Piece, yeah.
There it is. And I'm like, okay, you know what? Miles really, I think, accidentally pitched it to me. Growing up, I was a gigantic astronomy nerd. Like in kindergarten, I was the one explaining why Pluto is sometimes closer to Neptune and sometimes further than Neptune and all that crap. Right now, I have a 4-year-old, so we are deep into the planet stuff. Thank God, because I wasn't sure he would like it. He was into what I think is a Canadian export, Paw Patrol, a little too much. I tried to move him away. It's you can't. If you tell someone to not watch something, they're gonna watch it. So Tristan, don't watch One Piece. I'm trying to figure out how to do this non-spoilery.
Yeah, it's hard to do.
It like checked off. I'll put it this way: my co-host Steve said something like, when I mentioned that I had just watched Orb, he's like, "Oh yeah, that's a Zach anime." Yeah, that makes sense. I can do a better Steve impression than that. It is Zach horror. Is Zach pilled? No, I'm Orb pilled. It is Zach horror. I got that. I saved myself there.
You did.
There you go. Bravo.
Yeah, no. So it really scratched an itch, and I think I told Miles that like I've been like getting into astrophotography like the last few years, and just like the scenes in like the first few episodes in particular where he's just staring at the sky, and it's like this beautiful, like, I am in my 30s. I just want to stare at the sky, not think about the world, and be in like a happier place, which, to be fair, there's gruesomeness in Orb, but it's like, it's just such a important series today. Like, it's so resonant. It's also just, I love historical fiction and anime in particular. I think like really scratches an itch. Like, I started reading Witch in Mongol, the series that's coming out from Science Saru soon, which I highly recommend.
They have a lot of good things coming out soon.
And that's historical fiction. I'm like, I just really like historical fiction anime. I've just discovered a genre that I didn't really know so
you were into.
Yeah.
And
you should watch Vinland Saga.
It's on my shelf.
I need to. Yeah, that's also on my
translator.
That's also on my list. That makes me want to read it more. Because One Piece has really good translations now.
He's on our show every week almost. The translator. Yeah, that's claim to fame there. He does Vinland Saga, Akane Banashi, which also is a favorite.
Also good.
Yeah, Akane. Man,
that's the reason I downloaded the Shonen Jump app.
It's really good.
The anime's coming next season. I'm so excited for it, and like, I'm about to make you even more excited for it, Tristan, than you already are, because
it's not possible.
Okay, no, it is.
It's really not.
Are you watching? You've already watched Shiboyugi for your seasonal video?
Yeah.
The sound designer of Shiboyugi is doing the sound design for Akane Banashi.
I mean, I'm really happy about that, but really, I have hit the limit of how hype. I'm like,
my expectations are too high for that series because I don't know if they could hit it. Because I love Akane Banashi, Witch Hat Atelier, and Witch's Life in Mongol all come out, I think, in April, right? And I'm like, really, I'll use a term that people use, hype, about all three of those. I'm very excited.
Out of like the entire new wave of fantasy, I think Witch Hat Atelier is the best.
Oh my God. Witch Hat Atelier. You mentioned it recently. I was very happy to see. I know what you're going to pull out. I think I'm a volume or two behind, but I kind of want to read it all in one go, though. It's just groundbreaking manga like that. If you like, but there are a lot of parts of it that are One Piece, I think so. It's definitely one of the closest to the One Piece reading experience that I've had.
And then you just got to hope that the adaptation is as good, because there are plenty of times that I have read something that is like a groundbreaking manga. So like Chainsaw Man, for example. And then a lot of people have problems with the Chainsaw Man adaptation. A lot of them are also wrong, but it's...
like the thing is, Chainsaw Man's a good anime. It's just not a transcendent use of the medium, which the Chainsaw Man manga is. And
sorry, they just give you a 10 out of 10 anime that didn't change your life.
I think it's a 9 out of 10 anime that didn't change my life.
9.5 at least.
But
yeah, okay. I'll give you that.
And the movie's a 9.5. Like I gave it like an 8.5 when I saw it the first time. But
I remember.
You
can't take that back.
On reflection, I can't take it back. You're right.
But it's just like saying Full Metal Alchemist. You only have that one shot.
But Witch Hat Atelier, like, my only concern with it is that it is like a Chainsaw Man level genius use of the medium. It's like so tied to manga. I don't want to spoil, because even saying how it is a spoiler.
Just read Chainsaw Man. Read Chainsaw Man.
But so actually, hold on, to kind of bring this back. I have been reading the Orb manga recently.
Yeah, I just started it too.
Like very recently, and so like I'm like, oh, is this? And I like had to like write it out like on just pen and paper. I'm like, should this have been adapted? Is this not the best format for it? And I think I haven't finished the manga, so I can't say for sure, but I think I've come to the conclusion that no, the anime deserves to exist for many, many reasons.
Yes.
And is the ideal viewing experience, but we can talk about that.
Yeah, I wanted to say though, like, so I started the manga. I'm so little into this, so please take this with a heap of salt. It reminds me a lot of Isayama. Is that the author of Attack on Titan? Mm-hmm. It reminds me a lot of his stuff in that you could almost, like, the 24-year-old I do kind of see. Like, maybe I'm around too many artists that I kind of like, I feel like have more of an eye for that. Not that I could draw, but like,
you can feel his style developing over the course of the production.
Story-wise, I think still impeccable, like, as I'm sure we'll talk about in the anime, but it feels very rough. Like, the anime so far is transcendent to the manga. I'm again not very far in. I'm still in this first book, but yeah,
I just was so captivated by the manga that I'm like, because I was thinking, like, because one of the questions I got asked, actually, I forget when, or maybe we talked about it in the last time we tried to record this. Whatever the case, I had some conversation with intelligent people about Orb. Could it be a live action? And the answer is unequivocally no, but not for the reasons you would think. It's because the story it's trying to tell requires you to give a leap of faith that is harder to do in other mediums. Mm-hmm. It is asking you to accept this as realistic historical fiction when it is fundamentally fantastical, because it is about ideas that are so big that you need to have that, Oxy looking up in the sky, and you need to be able to look through Oxy's eyes, and that would not be as resonant in live action with the best CG and like from Industrial Light to Magic.
And like even the best 4K camera cannot capture what he sees when he looks up at the sky, as well as
could it be done? I would say that there is a physical possibility. It's just the likelihood is so low.
And would it be made in Japan? And would it feel like the Full Metal Alchemist movies or something?
Well, we don't need to talk about those.
I don't want to talk about it. I'm just
good.
But like even Novak, like growing up as a character, and I don't want to get into spoilers just yet, but like that is very helpful to do in anime.
Speaking of not spoilers, we haven't exactly explained what the story of Orb is for anybody who's not.
Planets,
I mean, hopefully,
Space.
People
You've already watched
are aware.
it.
But so if you haven't watched or read Orb, to put it very simply, it is a story of various people throughout not Poland, who
Very
have
explicitly not Poland.
Who have
one time I muted, I was laughing.
Interests in astronomy, some professional, some hobbyist, who all sort of come together over the years to try to advance this theory of heliocentrism over geocentric dogma, which is carried out by the church, and there's a whole Inquisition trying to stamp them out. So it's scientists versus the Inquisition is the most basic pitch.
And totally not the Catholic Church.
Totally not the Catholic Church.
No, definitely
just
not.
The church.
Do they never actually say it's the Catholic Church?
No.
So
I don't think they do, and they also don't need to.
No, they don't. It's isn't there a pope?
It's called Country P and Religion C or something like that. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
They like dance around what the exact religion is, not necessarily to avoid offending people, but because it's supposed to be a story that could happen anywhere. Like it's about all of humanity.
I think the main point of that was to be like, if you really want to, here's kind of what we're historically balancing, but also please don't try to take everything from this story and place it as if it is 100% historically accurate. Like we're retelling something that we actually like found records of or anything. None of that is happening. But this is roughly when and where it is.
Until it kind of
We're
is.
still in the spoiler-free territory.
There's not. I feel like there's not much I can talk about
without
then let's get into spoilers.
Let's get into spoilers.
I think I do want to say on the live action point, I completely agree that I think the magic of it is in the art, and kind of like another series we were talking about. Not to give spoilers to that, it's kind of almost. I don't know. It is like an ethereal. I like that description of it, Geoff. Like it's you need kind of the otherworldliness because it lends more credence to because it's so much about the imagination and anyway, I don't know.
And chi.
Yes.
Chi.
Full Metal Alchemist. Sorry,
Geoff, come on!
Full Metal Alchemist. Why was that? Okay.
I was like,
it was a layup. I'm sorry.
Gave you an opening.
I'm sorry.
So,
it's okay. I keep whiffing
Actually,
it. I keep whiffing
Miles
it.
really gave you the opening there, I feel like.
Yeah. I was expecting someone to step on me, and
to be honest, it took all the willpower in the world to not.
Yeah. And I wasted your kind contribution.
Don't worry. I run jokes into the ground. It'll happen again.
It'll happen again. So into the spoilers, into the spoiler territory. I wanted to bring up my favorite thing to mention with Orb to anybody that's watched the show, because so many times I've brought this up to somebody who has watched the show and they didn't notice it. If you put the three openings, because there are three, side by side.
I've seen a million of these videos.
Yeah. What's the first thing you see on every opening? You see the main character of that arc, and they start with their eyes closed. But the further you get into the show, the faster they open them.
That
eyes are being opened to the truth. Yeah, no. If you watch OP1 with Raphael, his eyes are closed for a good long time. But you skip over to OP3 and like eyes are closed for like maybe 2 seconds.
They just shoot
They
open.
open super fast. And it's like,
so cool. That's really cool.
So cool.
What a neat detail.
There's so many like little things that change throughout the entire opening. It's like, it's not.
It's one of my favorite tropes is having an OP that changes over time, but either very obvious ones like freaking Stardust Crusaders, or more subtle ones like this.
But I mean, this one does like, there's like a change like every 2 or 3 episodes. It's not even like, Stardust Crusaders.
I mean, they also change protagonists every
they change protagonists, but also like as there are new revelations to the story, there will be like subtle tweaks, a slight change scenes.
Yeah.
But I mean,
it's not as simple as saying that there are three openings. There are technically 3 openings in that each arc has its own, but also within that
they like change animation timings, and like there's a lot of really, really clever stuff in there. And every version of
specific scenes in something if they need to, but you'll still see scenes from arc 3 in the very first opening. They're there.
Every version of it gives me chills too. It's just like,
the song's great.
Still,
well, that's like the wildest thing about this show is I get chills thinking about so many parts of it, because even when whenever someone mentions a scene from this, my whole body just like explodes with like, oh my god, there's so much emotion packed into it. I have never cried more at an anime other than Makia, and I cried like probably every other episode of the show just because of how beautiful the statement it was giving about humanity was. And that's not what even the show's about, right? Like the show's not about like having faith. This is like the most optimistic show about people getting tortured and dying that's, I think, humanly possible, because every episode I just felt such joy and to be a human and such like camaraderie with these characters.
It's like the chain of command of anime.
It's
there you go.
Like
deep cut there. That no
chain of command from TNG specifically. There's a lot of chain of command.
Knows that. Miles.
Well, no, I mean, there's
not everyone.
If you
knows.
Google chain of command,
no one knows.
Who knows? Okay, actually, the Star Trek thing is very interesting. So, I was putting together notes.
Yes, you were,
and I was realizing as I was putting together notes for this episode that what I love so much about Orb is it's at the intersection of science, philosophy, and literature. And what I mean when I say literature is I mean characters, like actually literary characters. There are very few things I've seen in the world that can introduce characters as quickly as Orb, right? And it has to do that a lot. The characters are introduced so fully realized and so well that like I feel like I know these people without the use of tropes, without the use of stereotypes. Like there are some like, shortcuts that of course you will have to take as an author, but the characters are so realized from the moment you meet them. And that is such an important thing when you have so many new characters, and every new arc you're like, I miss my characters. Like arc 2 is my favorite, right? Like part 2 is my favorite part of this, which I think is a pretty non-controversial thing to say.
No, not at all. It's also the longest part.
Yes. It's like 12 episodes or so.
It's hard to choose a favorite. It's like choosing a favorite child a little bit.
Well, I mean, a little bit. Yeah.
Choose a favorite child because the other 2 are going to die.
Well, no, they all die.
They all
die.
They will all. Everyone dies at the end.
Everyone dies eventually.
Yeah.
But the fact that it introduces new characters so well is just unbelievable. But like, it's that like, oh, we're going to talk about these scientific things with reasonable technicality, and we're going to talk about philosophy, and there's going to be a moral decision in every single episode that is not black and white. So it's not like Star Trek, since the 90s, but in the 90s it was like Star Trek.
Yes.
And then it's going to have that like literary element, and like those 3 have not come together literally since Deep Space Nine, right? Like
maybe this is why it's so Zach. Yeah.
And so like it hits all those same things in me of just like opening up my mind and my heart at the same time, and my like fan tendencies to find so much meaning out of fictional characters. That triangle is like why I love Orb, and the execution does help quite a bit. Star Trek.
So you're saying I should watch Deep Space Nine?
Deep Space Nine, yes.
I mean, Deep Space Nine is my favorite TV show of all time.
Yeah, it might be one of my favorite. Yeah, it's up there.
People who like listen to this podcast may say, "Wow, aren't you the movie guy? Don't you think it's nice when it's tight?" I'm like, yeah, but Mad Men and Deep Space Nine kept up that quality for their entire runtimes. Sorry, your fave can't do the same.
There are episodes I don't like. Don't get me wrong, but
there are bad episodes everywhere. But like even just within the realm of Trek, I think DS9 has the least amount of bad episodes.
It does have
to the point, like,
yeah. Sorry,
yeah, to the point as Miles said, like TNG is kind of lauded as like one of the more popular Trek series of all time, and most people would agree. Yeah, just skip season 1; it's fine. No one's gonna really harp on you for skipping season 1 of TNG, but you should not skip season 1 of DS9.
Duet, we just mentioned it.
Duet is in season 1 of DS9. Do not skip season 1 of DS9.
And you need background, I feel like, a little bit. I mean, that series is also good at doing that, like, okay, here's a moral quandary that the, whatever character is about to face.
Well, because they made characters that have moral freaking quandaries. Like, yeah, I love Gene Roddenberry so much. Thank you, man. But your whole nobody on our shows should have conflict thing is dumb and should not have been. The conflict is great, especially when you do it well. I don't want the characters to hate each other, but I want their lives to come into conflict and then to show us, the audience, how you plan and end up resolving that. And I think Orb does that very well.
Character depth and like introducing, a character, as you, I think Geoff mentioned, like being able to introduce such a swath of characters or Miles mentioned, I don't know, so quickly.
It was Miles.
It was Miles. I heard the internet yelling at me from the past, from the future.
And the future.
Sorry. Yeah, it just has such a deep well of like lived in and fully 3-dimensional characters that DS9 has that, Orb has that, One Piece has that, I think. It's
You think?
No, I do. I should sell this.
No, One Piece. Yeah, One Piece certainly.
No, I can believe it.
He was giving you a hard time.
Yeah. Me?
Sorry for throwing off your train of thought there.
No, it's my train of thought was gone already.
It's the way that the characters come alive the moment you meet them is really compelling, right? Like there's from the very first moments with Rafal, even, you get what he's about.
I mean, you do, but I also feel like he's like the weakest example out of all of them. Because okay, Miles is already shaking his head in disagreement. I feel like the first handful of minutes of episode 1 of Orb is not what sold me on Orb.
Well, I mean,
I don't think Rafal like doing his whole shtick of, I'm just gonna do this to get my goals. At the very start of episode 1, before he like really figured out what the heck was going on. It wasn't until like the end of episode 1 when he started getting into the shit of it, and I'm like,
yes.
Oh
no, I mean,
I agree with you. I
kind of see what you're saying, but like to me, the naive, the part of the story before he like has his eyes opened, where he's like teetering between, I enjoy astronomy, but also like clearly, going into theology is like my ticket to an easy life, right?
I mean, maybe the reason why I don't like it is because I've kind of been burned on characters that really do feel like they're the smartest person in the room.
Yes,
and he really does feel like he's the smartest person in the room,
and
not necessarily in a bad way, because he is. He absolutely is the smartest person in that room. But it's like the contrast between watching him do his thing and then we move into the second arc and just have essentially, I don't want to insult the man, but simple-minded Oxy just looking up at the stars, and I'm like, you're such a precious man.
He's such a sweet, I like how, I mean, speaking of like making a character come alive instantaneously, I love that like Oxy exudes that like innocence even in the moment where we see him literally murdering a man.
Yes.
What a beginning for him too, because that is so antithetical almost to that character. He's just such a he's like just a sweet lumbering, guy that
doing what he's got to do to survive, but also like, you do not want to throw down with him in a sword fight.
No, you don't. He's fantastic. Those are some of the best animated bits too in the series.
Yeah, and then we get the buddy cop comedy of bits between him and Grass for a little bit, and I'm just like, that's perfect. This is great. And then even when that's gone, like, I do miss it, but then also what it's replaced with. Like, we replaced so many things over the course of 4.
There's a lot of buddy cops in that second part too.
Yeah, there is a lot of like the second part's like peak buddy coppery across the board. But you know, they established that dynamic so you miss Gross, right? Like, you know, it's a really good show at making you miss characters, you know, like creating like a unique bit of chemistry and then taking it away from you, and you're like, well,
I mean, even Rafal in the beginning, I didn't care about him in the first 10 minutes, but within the first 10 minutes, I knew, oh, this show is extremely special. Like, I knew from the first episode, even for the first half of it, that like there was something really, truly unique. And by the third episode, when Rafal, you know, of course, like Madoka's, it's a whole
spoiler alert there.
You know. Teleports to the end of the show is what he does.
So to me, there's two things that made me like Rafal like right from the jump, or like that I think set him apart from what you were talking about with all those characters who are, you know, the smartest guy in the room.
I mean, to be fair, he gets out of that, but it's just like, that's his intro. That's his like very first scene. And then you start getting into the plot lines of, he thinks he's the smartest person in the room because 9 times out of 10, he is the smartest person in the room. Now we're putting him up against people that are either smarter than her, or it's not her, smarter than him, or just know how to trip him up a bit better. I said her because I've been looking at the freaking chart and I just keep seeing Maya Sakamoto's name right next to it.
I don't necessarily think that anybody he interacts with is smarter than him, but he is too smart for his own good. And I would say Noak understands that.
Yeah.
Okay, smart and wise are like two different things. It's like having a high intelligence and having a high wisdom. Like, I wouldn't say that Novak is smarter than him, but Novak
he's wiser.
Can absolutely.
He knows how people works in it's
Yeah, because he's a kid, right? He's got like max in and like 14, very low wisdom. Yeah. But that's like, he's not the smartest guy in the room because the mangaka made everybody else around him an idiot, right? True. He's from the start, you can, everybody around him is smart and his intelligence is a step above that authentically. You can see, you see the thought processes and you also see the conflict that he's got of, do I want to follow these things that I'm passionate about that like genuinely get my brain going on a level that nothing else does, or do I just want to coast on my intelligence, which is I think a very authentic struggle for that sort of character to go through.
What sealed the deal for Rafal for me was that Rafal I apologize, I mispronounce everything all the time.
We do that all the time. It's
I'd be mispronouncing it too if I didn't have a friend named Rafal.
Oh, you do. It's a good name. Yeah. Right.
Very Polish.
No, they're from the country of P.
The country
the
P.
Kingdom of P. Yeah,
very
country P.
P-ish.
Well, that doesn't sound good.
Sounds bad.
No, that sounds like something else. No, but that scene at the very end of his life, you're fighting a difficult enemy. The truth is like one of the, like, that's the thesis for the show. So I think what I meant to say here too is that him being the smartest person in the room makes his transformation into the person he is at the end of his life, which again is not that far off, even at the beginning. It's what makes him such an interesting character, because he has to do everything antithetical to how he has survived, because he has found this like thing greater than himself that it is a faith. Like, it is kind of everything that the church is supposed to represent there. It's, I am giving my faith up to what I believe is the truth, to what I believe is real. And it just, that felt like a very talking to the screen moment too for me, Rafal saying that. Like, I don't know, it just feels very resonant. as I mentioned at the top. And it really sealed the deal for that character because I did feel a lot of anime tropes at the beginning, and not just because they do anime-ish things with him in the classroom. And that's the scene I'm thinking of particularly. Like, I'm a kid who's gotten by being the smartest one and knowing what to say when to say it. And the fact that he has to do exactly the opposite and he ends up committing his life to it is just so awesome and like respectable and heroic and like,
especially for a character that pretty much tells you at the jump, oh yeah, I already have like the next like 20 years of my life planned out. I'm already set. I'm ready to go. This is all I'm going to do. And then like, what is it? Maybe a month later, he's just like, nah, screw you all. I'm out. And here we go.
Heliocentrism. Come on. Have you heard the word heliocentrism? It changes your life. You have to just drop everything there.
Hi, do you have a few moments to talk to us about heliocentrism?
I found my new calling. Door-to-door
I mean, that is kind of like the overarching. That's the arc of this entire series. It's just like, hey, have you heard the good word about heliocentrism over and over again?
I mean, it's like showing. It's kind of like what Novak says, you know, in his, you know, again, we're in spoiler territory, so I'm going crazy. But in his final day, I'm the bad guy in this story. Like, it is, they're both missions of faith, and I think it just shows. You know, in adulthood, I've wrestled a lot with the difference between spirituality and religion. And I feel like this show really exemplifies kind of like what, you know, where my belief system is a little bit, like the unknowability of the universe, and also the just like humanity standing on each other's shoulders generation after generation is such a beautiful concept. You ask why, like the reason why I felt like I needed to talk about the show, and I don't, for some reason, no one on our podcast really wants to talk about it. So I had to bother you guys.
Thank you for coming on for that specifically.
It's just like, I think Rafal particularly just represents this, like, I believe this now. I am willing to do anything I can in a heroic way. And I know it's kind of undercut by the ending a little bit, but I think it also just kind of shows the two sides of the coin of faith, and you know, whether anyway, that's a whole other.
So it's faith is so tied in with truth, and so for those who don't know, the word truth is more or less the word truth is chi in Japanese, which is also the same word as ball sphere, which ties into the heliocentrism. So there's some
layers.
Word play going on here, right?
That doesn't necessarily translate to the English version.
And I always tell the orb. That's my dad joke for
the Netflix translation, because Netflix has exclusive rights for most countries and most languages. No, worldwide, I think, is pretty good, but it doesn't contend with that challenge. And also,
you though. Yeah.
But the answer is I don't know. I'm not. This is not my specialty, and even if it was, I think it'd be a really hard decision to make. I think it is. If you're watching it, I think there's like if you're watching it in like as someone who doesn't know any Japanese, you will actually miss a little bit of that, just because that wordplay is actually a little relevant to this story, but it's not such that you should not watch it or that you feel like you're getting a second class experience. You're not. It's just kind of like an unfortunate complication of talking about the show. But one thing I loved about the last two episodes, I actually had no idea how they were going to wrap it up, because I didn't think there was any way they could make it satisfying. And they basically made it so unsatisfying that it worked out as the most satisfying ending possible, because truth is relative, which is something that's basically touched on the whole time. And also truth is a religion, right? Like,
yes, do
we
get it?
What is your truth? It's
a faith, I think.
Faith is a better, the truth is a matter of faith. And what is the truth or a truth is so temporary right? It is something that expires. It's something that doesn't last.
It's ephemeral.
Ephemeral, that's the word I'm looking for. But there is the underlying truth of heliocentrism that binds these that one truth binds all these characters together over generations and like ruins Novak's life in a bunch of different ways, right? Like
not enough ways, but yeah.
Well, he is the perfect villain, like, right?
What a great character. Yeah. That is.
Of all the characters, like, I have a lot of favorites. It's really hard to pick one. Novak's probably got to be it for me as the one through line of every part of the show.
I do hate him though.
Yeah.
I hate the show.
He's a despicable. The funny thing is, watching 100 Meters made me like him more in retrospect because. Have you seen 100 Meters yet, Zach?
No, I saw. I don't want to date when this comes out, but I saw that the discussion is or was had, and I was planning on watching it.
It's next week's episode, so just watch it tonight. Or tomorrow.
Watch it when it goes live, and then realize just how much of a retelling of Orb it is.
I just can't stay up until 3 a.m, but maybe I could.
I mean, One Piece tonight, once Novak shows up, it's kind of
It uses the author, the mangaka, is using sort of the Tezuka star system with his character designs, where like you're like, it's not just that's an Orb kid. It's like, I recognize that exact design, and like there are echoes
and voice actor and
it's the same. It's the same voice actor in the movie too, which is great. And I don't know if that was like a coordination between the productions or like literally just, who other than Kenjiro Tsuda would you get to voice a guy with a beard like that? But
that's who's playing, by the way, Shamrock in One Piece. For those who don't know, is Novak's voice actor.
That works so well.
It does work well. It does work well. I know there's 2 people here who really appreciate that fact.
But so the version of
Tristan.
It's all me. I am 2 people.
The version of Noak that we see in 100 Meters is kind of he's riffing on the same conflict at the heart of that makes Noak such a great villain here, which is he is somebody who rejects your reality and supplants his own, right? Like enforces his own. And in the context of him being the underdog of the reality, like the generally agreed upon reality of society not being what he wants it to be, that makes him this like really compelling underdog character where he's like trying to, eke out a win against, this overwhelming
decades of
expectations and like the truth. There is a truth that he's just not as good as the other people he considers his rivals in running, right? But then you flip that where he's part of this like dominant cultural hegemony, and he becomes this unreasonable tyrant who just inflicts his worldview on everybody else and like punishes anybody who challenges it. And it's so.
Are you talking about 100 Meters or are you talking about Orb? Or both?
Both. Yeah.
Okay. But not even his worldview, though. It's the thing. It's kind of his it's a very reactionary, like, understanding of the past. Like, this is how the world I was raised in was. And like, you kind of even see the cracks in Catholicism as Orb goes. And like, there's less interest and motivation behind the specific elements of Catholicism throughout the populace. But if you listen to Novak talk about it, you would think that Catholicism has a 100% approval rating in Poland. Right.
It should have a 100% approval rating.
Yeah, I mean, if they like, if you did a poll, it would.
You get tortured with like a weird egg thing or something.
That's like some weird unintentional wordplay there. He's somebody who, in both versions of the story, is capable of consciously setting himself in a place of cognitive dissonance, right? Where he can intentionally bring himself into that and make it his whole perspective. And the thing is, that's not challenged in like the general society doesn't challenge him in Orb the way that it does in 100 meters. And because of that, he's able to take it to this like violent extreme where, you know, in the end, it's not the forces of society. It's just him, right?
Yeah.
That revelation that this, you know, this obsession with the world that he grew up with, right? That with resisting all of these corruptive influences that are trying to like tear down the social order that's benefited him and that he thinks makes the world tick. I just find it really interesting to see the two different approaches to this character who denies the truth that's in front of him, and how that plays out. But, you know,
and I think something that that he exemplifies as a character, Novak to me exemplifies a theme that is present in this and 100 meters, which is that everything is political. Every action is political. Right? Like science is not natural. There's no neutrality in this entire series. No person in this series is good or bad foundationally or fundamentally. Not even Novak. Like everything is political and everything is defined by both its implications on other people and on society as a whole. And so like for him to be like, again, by the end of the story, not really all that relevant within this organization where he could have been in a even more of a leadership role, and like the decisions that other people make to protect his daughter because of personal political choices that are like more strongly held than like the rule of law. Like it's so funny to see his own politics be his undoing on a fundamental level.
What is it? The leopard eating faces party? I mean, like that's kind of the Novak, you know,
and then we get to watch his face get eaten. It's great.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna help the leopards eat people's faces, and then when the leopards eat my face, I'm gonna be like, what the hell, guys?
It's gonna be a shocked Pikachu face while they're eating it.
Well, I mean, and that actually is what happens.
It's almost more of an option of he's helping out the leopards eat faces party, only to find out that the party never existed, and yet his face still gets eaten anyway.
Yeah, I mean, the party did kind of exist.
The Inquisition existed. It you know, like, but to every
it was that
he's the only like true believer in it, and everybody else is using it as a political tool to advance their own ends. And that's that like it's such an interesting like dynamic.
It's America in 2.5 years. Yeah.
2.5 That's
America optimistic. Now.
It is very optimistic.
Yeah.
Well, no, right?
It depends when we're recording this too. I mean, when this comes out. No, I think what is so interesting about him is that he's kind of fine. So his background is he was an assassin, and then he like found this role through some means. And
he had to come to Jesus moment.
I guess he had to come to Jesus moment, or he like, oh, I could do my job and also do it for good. I could torture people for the greater good.
Well, you know,
very big air quotes to that.
He's already spent all this time cultivating the skill set, right? You know, like it makes sense to pivot careers instead of trying to relearn something. He's got a daughter
who's fine throwing everything away for what he like. That's
immediately.
It's not that he's cowardly. It's just that he's a foot soldier, and he thinks he's doing the right thing. And he's backed up by this gigantic hegemony, this big organization, like the rule of law, doing these awful things. Again, there's nothing relevant in any of this. And when he gets to the end and he's like, oh shit, I was doing what I loved, torturing people, but I was doing it for ill. I was torturing people for the wrong reason. And like, that's kind of his Like, he thought he was doing it for the greater good, and he comes to the conclusion that no, he wasn't. I think there's part of it who's like, yes, I want to keep up this order that has let me succeed. Yes. But I think he is like, I am doing my job, and I think I'm good at my job, and I'm just trying to do the best I can at my job. And then he's like, shit, I was the villain the whole time.
Well, yeah, he doesn't even pull up the ladder after him. He's like, yeah, I'm going to help train you guys to torture the bad guys.
Yeah.
Let's do this together. Multi-generations. Like my daughter one day can help torture children too. Like
that's Yeah, that's
she will.
That's the
just
willful,
in a different way.
That's the willful cognitive dissonance thing. You know, that's the that he's like,
yes.
He
No, it's the children who are wrong.
Yeah.
Yes. It's the literal child who is wrong.
Yeah. But it's
my child who is wrong.
He needs to believe that, like, he wasn't a good person before, but he's a good person now. That all of the bad things that he did added up to something more than himself.
Well, the thing is, I think a lot of his actions are defined by him torturing and killing Rafal also.
Yeah.
Because I think he feels guilt about that the entire time. And it's like, well, if I did that for no reason, then I have to be the bad guy. No, I can't be. So I must double down on this, even when it doesn't make any sense to double down on this, because otherwise me killing that kid who was a nice kid who I liked was wrong. And it's so great. And also you feel sick to your stomach realizing what he's realizing. Like you feel empathy for him, even though you hate him. At that moment of like
that's the optimism in humanity, I think. Kind of, it's that, you know, everyone in their soul has their motivations, even when ill, even when, you know, pure evil in what they're doing, which he is for a lot of it. But you're like, oh, he's a human being too, who's like, that's a very difficult lift that I can't think of a lot of fiction being able to do. Well, generally,
so I don't think he's I'm
not saying he's evil, but like, he's doing evil things.
I mean, he is doing evil things, but he's also like nowhere near the most evil Inquisitor that we see in the story. Like the ones who are successful, like the ones who are doing it for like political gamesmanship. The guy who has Yolanda.
Is that part 3?
Yeah. I mean the Inquisitor who's the son of the bishop who has Yolanta sent to be tortured, and then you know, comes back later in Draka's story and is still just kind of a piece of shit, you know, like I think he's, you know, a much worse guy than Noak, right? Because that's the person running the hegemony. You know, like that's the person who's running the cogs of the machine. Who doesn't believe in it, right? And like that's
even like worse, almost,
like Noak. There's this like I wouldn't necessarily call it like faith in humanity, but there's like a feeling that if he had made a different choice with Rafal, maybe he could have been reached, right? You know, like he's too far gone by the end of it, but like he does sincerely believe that he's doing something good for humanity, and he's talked himself into that. Like everything he does is self-evidently evil to us as the viewers, but like he's like, oh, you know, it's all adding up to some greater good. But then, you know, there's the guys who intentionally create that lie, knowing that it's a lie, knowing that what they're doing to people is horrible and unjustifiable, but it makes them richer and more powerful. So they don't just do it, but they convince other people to believe what Noak believes. They create like an army of Noaks. That's
scary.
The real evil there, right? Like
a lot of alcohol that would need to be supplied to that.
I mean, what I also really like is we spend all this time with Noak and we see kind of what he's been doing and what he believes and how he's been acting on it. But he is on a particular side of this conflict. And then the story is kind enough to also grant us Schmidt, who is basically Noak, but on the other team. And
but
like
it's righteous indignation there.
it is very much
good.
so. It is very much. It's very righteous indignation. It's
Very
like, no, we're going to
righteous.
stop the car and
Very
go stare at
indignant.
the sun for a while and enjoy the beauty of this word that God has created for us.
Oh my god,
Schmidt is such a
that opening even more. Like,
I mean,
just once
yeah.
you get introduced
Firstly,
to,
Schmidt makes that opening, especially once you meet him, because before you see him, like you see him in the opening every episode, and it's
what
just
is
like, what's this guy doing? And then you meet him, and it's just so freaking good. I love Schmidt so much, but it's also like
too.
what I really like is if you tried to like show this to a more religious minded person, they might be a little turned off by like a lot of the anti-Catholicism stuff that kind of exists throughout. And then you get to Schmidt, and Schmidt's like the example of, no, I'm a diehard zealot, but I'm also looking at things from this other side of the thing. I'm not so diehard that I'm just going to follow what everybody else tells me to do. I'm going to find my truth, my chi, my orb, and
So
I'm going to move forward with that.
He's kind of the inverse of Noack in that Noack is a zealot for dogma, right? He's a zealot for the organization itself, right? Like he doesn't necessarily even
Believe in God.
Believe in God, or even, it's almost irrelevant to him whether or not the Earth revolves around the sun, right? It's really about what that says about the stability of the world and the power of
life.
the church and
Well, it's irrelevant to Schmidt too.
yeah, but what I'm saying is like Noack
won't go to
Noack
won't go to mass every week, but Schmidt absolutely does.
Well, no, Schmidt wouldn't, because Schmidt
he would get killed if he
Schmidt is an anti-dogma zealot, right? He doesn't believe in the organization at all. He wants he would burn the entire church down. He feels like the church is getting in the way of humanity's relationship with God. And like, it's kind of right, like 100%. That is the problem for Noack, is that Noack is this zealous about something he's just kind of been told to believe, right? About something that like fundamentally supports the order of society. And he's like, I've got all these like rational reasons that this is good, even if it's not true. Right. And Schmidt is like, I fully believe in the truth of my beliefs, right?
My own personal beliefs.
Yeah,
personal. It's so hyper personal that like I actually don't think like the story of Orb is on Schmidt's side any more than it's on Novak's side.
Mm-hmm.
No,
but I don't think like Schmidt is shown in a very positive light. I love every moment he's on screen.
Schmidt's also essentially a terrorist in a lot of description.
But a terrorist for
he's the Keanu Reeves of Orb.
But he's a terrorist.
The Reeves of Orb. Yeah. Sorry,
is
Geoff.
Is he a terrorist or is he a freedom fighter?
No, he's a terrorist. He's definitely a terrorist. Like the thing is, this is what I mean. Like Orb is not kind to him because you only have to take one step back. Well, no, because he's so because he's basically an anarchist. Like but in practice, he's an anarchist.
But like the state has an ongoing terror campaign against dissidents, right? So like yes, he's doing
freedom
bad
fighter
things.
Is actually a better description.
Well, and he
I would say Yolanda's a freedom fighter. I don't think Schmidt is. That's the important distinction, because he doesn't care about the outcome. He only cares about the process. He is a terrorist basically because of that. He does not want to rebuild something new. That's not his goal. His goal is to destroy the bad things, not to make something.
No, I think didn't he? I mean, I thought he said something along the line, like he has a vision of what religion should look like. He's not like there just to burn it down.
Well, no, but he's there to burn. He's there to burn down what's currently there, so that what he assumes to be the light of God and everything will help to rebuild after. And he's perfectly fine with laying down his life to get there.
And I guess he has faith that that will come to pass once the dogma is burned down.
But he doesn't have any intention to ever be part of that future.
Yeah,
he
no,
only has an
He
intention
thinks
to
he's
burn
going to
down.
die, and he does.
Yeah.
He does,
So, yeah.
But he's someone who from the beginning is like willing to die for the world he wants to create. And Noak is someone who is willing to kill for the world that he wants to create, but would not, like, he doesn't want to sacrifice anything.
Well, that's
To be fair, though,
except
Schmidt would also
for-
kill for
No,
it.
Schmidt would absolutely kill.
100%.
No, he's taking a bunch of people down with him, is the thing.
Which is different than, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
but I do want to complicate it just a little further, because I do think it's important to say that because Schmidt never intends to live to see that new dawn he creates, I don't think it's like a sacrifice for him to give his own life.
yeah,
Because that is always his intention. It's almost like a selfish sacrifice, because he's like, no, I'm going out in the greatest blaze of glory possible, and I'm going to kill as many people as possible on my way to do that. But it's right, and God will fill in the gaps.
To round this circle, though, I mean, like,
Round this orb.
Full Metal Alchemist.
Full Metal Alchemist.
there it is.
There we go.
He
We
did
got
it.
there.
I didn't even have to do it that time. What was I gonna even say? I think he is righteous and good because he's on the side of the truth, and the viewer knows that. The person, we as the viewer know that he is on the side of the truth. So wait 1 second, Miles. And I think at the end of the series, when we see evil Rafal, or whatever you want to call him, mirror
Just normal
universe
Rafal.
Rafal, if we're doing the Star Trek thing. I think showing that, okay, even if you're on the righteous side, sometimes you could do some pretty effed up things, and that doesn't make you a good guy, in the broadest sense of the term. I think is kind of the message that's trying to be conveyed, even though he feels super cathartic to us as a viewer.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm agreeing with you, Miles. I'm saying,
Yeah, I know. I can tell. Yeah.
Yeah, he's because I said it.
I think it also makes a big difference that, like, the people that we see Schmidt murder are all people who are murdering other people.
Yes,
right?
100% true.
Whereas Noak is killing, like, innocent people who are just doing science, like children, literally.
Well, Rafal killed himself, to be fair.
Yeah.
I mean,
but before
to him,
before he would have been killed in a more horrible way.
Or did Noak put it in front of him?
Yeah.
Okay, you're right. You're right.
I don't know. Like Schmidt immediately comes off as likable because the first guys we see him blow up are a bunch of Inquisitors, and at this point we're like, oh, well, these are assholes.
Also uses bombs. It's awesome. There's explosions.
The power of science.
Yeah, the power of science.
He also has one of.
He's the door-to-door heliocentric salesman who would actually convert.
He is also the greatest character to inhabit a mustache since Armstrong.
Yes,
Full
true.
Metal Alchemist.
But my point.
Full Metal Alchemist.
There you go.
Someone knew.
I've been actually holding on to that for a while.
my thing about Schmidt, about him, like, he's got the small truth right, and he's got the big truth right, and so it's so easy to cheer him on. But I think that, like, when we look at the orb in the context of the whole story, like, we see at the end that it doesn't matter that, like, it turns out that, maybe what we saw with Rafal at the beginning was not the real small truth, but the big truth of Rafal was still real. The fact that this 15-year-old kid helped kick off this entire movement of heliocentrism, that might have been true, but how he specifically played that role could have been romanticized. The truth of that doesn't actually matter is the thing. And so part of the thing is Schmidt's smaller truth didn't actually need to actually be true. He killed a lot of members of the church. He killed a lot of people who were, innocent according to the laws of the land.
Yeah,
right?
but
he killed people who were just doing their jobs. Now, so, like, this is where Geoff, don't worry, we were all cheering him on. But, like, it is so interesting that it's so easy to also view And I think Orb is not all that kind to him in the end of like, this guy was basically just killing people for his own self-righteousness. And he was a terrorist for his own self-righteousness. Now it was good. He did that. But
he was killing the right people.
Thank God. But like, he also could have maybe not, right? We don't even know what we see off screen.
Yeah. He might have killed some not the right people, but like,
he showed a lot of willingness to kill literally anyone who's getting in the way of his truth. And so I love him as a character in that sense. But the funny thing is we're running out of time, and I wanted to talk about Badeni and Yolenta and all of like
me too.
God, like that's the best part of the entire story. I'll
stay up until 2 a.m. talking about them. I don't know about you guys. Go ahead.
Every part of Orb is really good, but the further I get out from my first watch of it, I'm like, I really think that Oxy and Badeni and Yolenta, their story is the most compelling part of the whole, Can
I say, when I saw Badeni, I'm like, oh, this is anime character, capitalized. The eye patch has got scars, but they have really good reasons for all of them. I think every character I could talk about for at least a full hour in depth and have like a really good, interesting conversation with someone about.
And that is why Orb is so good, and we need to figure out where it is on the list.
Yeah. I think Tristan needs to go to bed.
Tristan.
Well, we're also over 2 hours of recording, which most of us will probably make the final episode. So, we don't want to keep us forever. Zach, for your sake and context, the list is now in the sheet as it stands now at the bottom.
I was about to ask. Okay.
So fundamentally, you don't get a vote, but you can convince us.
Okay.
Yeah. We're happy to put when we originally recorded this, our first conversation about Orb, I don't remember what we talked about, and I don't even remember what we put on the list, but my opinion has actually gone the opposite way of Geoff, because when I finished watching the show, the second part of the show was my favorite, and to the point that it made all the other parts feel not as good. My wife has been watching Orb for the first time, so I've been rewatching a bunch of episodes, and I've spent like a year now almost ruminating on this show. And I think that as a whole, I just love it so much more, because even like, there's no bad arc, there's no bad character, there's no. Go ahead.
I don't think that there's any bad arcs or parts. I just I like the characters that we get to spend time with most in the Badeni arc, and we get to spend the most time with them all together doing stuff contiguously, as opposed to their lives being like torn up and going on big chases across the country, and like it gets to settle into a status quo that's very satisfying for a couple episodes there, and that to me is the
peak of the show.
The peak of the show. But I also do really like Draka and Schmidt's whole storyline, and
as Spock would say, "Fuck yeah, science."
Yeah, fuck yeah, science.
Yes, I always say that. To kind of tie it into your list as well.
Yes.
I think the kind of segmented storytelling that is done through Orb is I love Bakano, and good on you guys for having that where it is. And Gurren Lagann is an example that popped into my head. I mean, there's a lot of that kind of segmented, we're going to pass on the storytelling to someone else. I think is some of the best stuff. I also think Orb does it better than I've ever seen it, and in a more creative way. And the thing is, even you could like one part more than the other, but all the parts really fill the story to the whole. It's done in a way that I've never kind of seen that.
Have you ever read a James Michener novel?
No, I need to.
So James Michener is really famous in the American literature world for kind of popularizing this kind of epic storytelling for modern things, or semi-modern historical fiction. And watching Orb and reading it felt very much like when I was a kid, with Centennial and all this stuff. It's here's a book of 100 years of history about a town, and you get to go through all these different generations of people that are only vaguely related to one another. And the problem with all of those is they were never better than the sum of their parts. They were just really good the whole time. And there were weaker and stronger sections. And even though Orb has weaker and stronger sections, the sum of it, like, there's no bad section. It's like DS9, no bad seasons.
No bad
They're
seasons?
good for different reasons. Yeah. No, you're right.
Yeah. And there's not.
DS9. So where's DS9 going on this list?
DS9's. Oh, I'd like to say the DS9 would be number one, but since Geoff hasn't seen it, it can't. Just naturally.
You know, the funny thing is, up until like literally this year, when the DS9 is obviously not my go-to for no bad seasons, no bad episodes, etc. But until literally last year, Detective Conan was somehow the anime with no bad episodes. And it's gotten it has now like less than it has like 6 bad episodes. According to IMDb, there are only 6 episodes with lower than a 7 rating.
Wait, why are we trusting IMDb on this?
I don't know.
Wrong.
That's okay. What's a bad episode?
Well, I'm going to trust Miles is the statistical king, I feel like.
No, I mean, Detective Conan. Okay, it's not that the episodes individually are bad, but Detective Conan has a really bad habit of taking a mystery and spreading it out Dragon Ball Z style over like 4 episodes for no godforsaken reason.
Well,
there are no
money.
stories.
To make more money.
Yeah,
I can agree that there are no stories in Detective Conan that are bad, but episodes, yes, absolutely.
They could be shorter. You're right. You know, they could be shorter. But what I'm saying is, like, there's no mystery that doesn't give you the anyway. Bit of a side tangent.
When I originally, after watching this, I immediately put this on my temp list of like my personal favorite 100 anime of all time, and I had it number 12 on the TV shots list, and like that was like crazy to me. I'm like, how do I really trust myself? But I just updated it, my personal list myself that Geoff and Tristan have access to. I actually moved it up to number 4. It kicked out Ping Pong from my top 10.
Wow.
That's how good the show is.
That's crazy.
Ping Pong.
You should rewatch Ping Pong, and then that'll kick something else out.
Yeah, probably. But like literally to this point, it is now above Baccano for me personally.
That's crazy.
I think it would be for me. I know my vote doesn't count here, but
no, that's
we want your opinion here, though. No, really.
I did a list. I need to find it.
I would love to hear it.
Do you think Chihaya Furu's in number 3 because both Miles and Geoff had finished watching it?
I need to watch that.
I do still trust you. I need to get back to watching.
Yeah, I know you trust me. I know you trust Sungwon.
Yeah.
I even trust Geoff a little bit on Chihaya Furu because he got farther than me. No, but he didn't. Yeah, I
didn't finish it, but I did
finish season 2.
Yeah, and it was beautiful, beautiful. Yep. Better than Ping Pong, which is not something I say lightly. Like
Geoff and I have an embarrassing amount of shared top 10 titles.
Yeah, it's true.
We do have good taste. I agree.
No, I know you're I'm your target audience, so I'm going to agree with that.
To me, like, I really like Orb a lot, right? You guys know it's not my favorite show of even the year, just because Apocalypse Hotel,
which I also need to watch.
If we were ranking manga, I think Orb would probably end up being in like my top 5
but the music,
10 manga.
The music. I know the production and quality is not actually the greatest,
really
but when it hits, it hits.
The music and the storyboarding are phenomenal.
Storyboarding are perfect.
I'm not like knocking it as a piece of cinema. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, like, to me, my favorite anime are the ones that like really take advantage of the medium and do things that you can only do in animation. And there is some of that in Orb, but a lot of it is, stuff that would be just as good if you were playing the soundtrack while listening to, or not just as good, but close to as good if you just listen to the soundtrack while reading the manga, right?
I mean, the acting is also phenomenal.
Yeah, the acting's also phenomenal. Okay, it's a
watch
top
the anime.
It's a top tier anime production basically across the board. I'm just saying it doesn't have that like extra
I do
playfulness.
Agree that the Apocalypse Hotel does not have a moment that takes you out of it for being an anime. Like it is a pretty essential, like,
okay.
To me,
like
my list.
My anime tops are like that, Cowboy Bebop. I lean very heavily toward original anime because like I seek out those things of like animators pushing their medium to the limit and doing things they can only do within anime. That's why I love Satoshi Kon so much and why I think he's basically unbeatable as the GOAT director, even above Miyazaki, who like already understands it really well. But like,
so is that you trying to like subtly say that you would want this lower than Tokyo Godfathers?
Yeah, that's about it. Like I understand that given the averages of your opinions, it's going to end up above Apocalypse Hotel. I'm
just
gonna watch that, so maybe I'll disagree. We'll
I mean, you're presuming a lot out of Tristan. Tristan does love this show, but Tristan gave it number 2 of the year, I believe.
Apocalypse Hotel?
No,
Orb.
You want to tell the audience what your number 1 was that year, Tristan?
It's goddamn Freerun. What do you think it was?
Yeah.
So it's not going above number 5?
Well, here's the thing. I, on my personal list, wouldn't put it above Freerun, but there are things a lot further down the list that I don't think personally I would put it above there either. But I do believe that in our combined list, this is the closest thing in 37 episodes that we've had to bumping Baccano off the top spot.
Wow.
This is the closest thing that we've got that we, like, as a group, the 3 of us could probably be like, we'd be okay with it to a point, but this is the closest thing we got. I don't know if it's going to do it. Geoff's shaking his head a little bit, so I don't think he's there, but
I don't think it makes sense to. Like, I put it above Baccano, but they're basically at the same level for me. And I know that, like, Baccano is, like, extremely high up for Geoff, and this is not. And for you, I don't know where you put this compared to Baccano, Tristan. Where do you fit between those two?
I mean, on my personal list, I'd probably put it above Baccano, but, like, there are things a lot further down on my personal, like, they're a lot further down on this list that I would put Orb under.
I also, and I mean, we were talking about Baccano a couple of weeks ago about how it's like the perfect gateway anime.
Yeah.
Like the perfect default recommendation to anyone. And Orb is definitely up there, but like, if I'm recommending Orb to somebody, they need to be a certain kind of guy or girl, like, it's got to be somebody who's got like an appreciation for philosophy, somebody who likes Star Trek or Dune.
DS9.
So someone with good taste.
Someone with good taste. Yeah, it's good.
Precisely.
I see you too.
And like Baccano, I would also recommend to somebody with good taste, but I would recommend it also to someone with bad
taste
because it will improve their taast. Just watching, like.
Yeah, but is your list about recommendations or are they about...
No, it's about the best. But I also do think I like Baccano more, personally.
All right, so here's
Baccano
the thing
more.
then, Geoff.
But
if it doesn't top Satoshi Kon, would you put it above Mononoke?
Yeah.
I have an argument.
What's your argument, Moss?
Let's move Freerun to number 3 and put it in the 5th place spot. Below ReZero and Chihaya Furu.
But above Tokyo Godfathers? That feels...
It's not even... yeah, absolutely.
I
mean, this helps me not put it above Pat Labor, which I don't want to do. Because Pat Labor...
No, it shouldn't...
I need to rewatch those.
It definitely shouldn't be above Pat Labor, too.
No.
But I want to put it above... I actually want to put it above Chihaya Furu, and I want to put Freerun above Chihaya Furu, and I don't remember why we put Chihaya Furu above Freerun.
I haven't seen ReZero, so
probably because you guys consecutively said that you were enjoying it more than Freerun, and we also had Song 1 on, and he of course was going to put it above Freerun. Because I don't think he watched Freerun when we did our recording. Actually,
people about
he was very evangelical.
I think we were wooed.
Yeah.
He's the Chihaya Furu for heliocentrism. No, the other way around. Yeah, but yeah.
No, he shows up. Hi, can I talk to you today about Chihaya Furu?
And he does that for
my Lord and Savior, Chihaya Furu. Yeah.
But like ReZero and Freerun are about even for me. Like I do like ReZero more than Freerun. But like it's about the same. But like I just feel like collectively, especially since it's Tristan's number one, I feel like our list should be Baccano,
Season
Pat
2
Labor,
airing.
Freerin.
Season 2's airing, man. Still good.
It is still good. I like. Should it be though? Like, I don't know.
Like
Zach, while he's thinking about this, what's your favorite anime of all time? Do you have the list?
So
is it not
I
One Piece?
just watched Pluto for the first time. No, it is not One Piece.
Okay.
I apologize. Again
Pluto's
to everyone
good.
listening. Pluto, I think, is my number 2 now. Like that.
Oh.
What a perfect story. Like, just I love Urasawa. Like, I love everything he writes.
Wait, what's your number one?
My one was Bebop because come on.
Yeah.
I know it's a basic choice.
Yeah.
But it's really
sometimes
good.
I mean,
it's
love
totally
it.
fine
It
to be
hits me.
basic.
Like it's close to the top of my all-timer list.
When the basic is as good as Bebop, it's fine to be basic.
Well, I did it by like, I'm going through my list and is this better? Like what you guys do. Is this better than this? Is this better than this? It's not like I'm thinking my favorite anime, Cowboy Bebop. It's just, I can't think of anything better than that for me. But then I don't know why I put Akira so high. Maybe, I don't know, maybe. But Baccano I had Cowboy Bebop, Pluto, Baccano, FMA Brotherhood, and then Orb. And then 8th MS Team, which is great.
Hell yeah.
Freaking love that.
This is a
series.
respectable list, Zach.
Samurai Champloo, Ranking of Kings, Ping Pong.
One Piece
This is why we bring you on. Only good people with good taste.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you could watch Mr. Tonegawa's Middle Management Blues, which
base taste, absolutely based. Very Watanabe pilled list too, which I appreciate.
Yeah, those are subjective. Those are nostalgic. Like Samurai Champloo and Cowboy Bebop both are like such pivotal parts of my like.
But there's a reason that when I was talking about like anime that take advantage of the medium, I went right to Cowboy Bebop, right? Because like,
yes,
I don't think that there is a better use of the episodic format or, a more just beautiful combination of animation and music in the medium.
So Geoff,
it's a good thing we tried to do it in live action because it would never have worked.
So Geoff, can we move through into third place? Tristan really wants to.
You're the one that's gunning for it. Like I would have removed it there before, but now I'm starting to feel like it feels a little bit more like the horse trading that we said we were going to avoid to do.
Yeah.
We're not avoiding horse trading. Also, I'm not actually trying to horse trade at all right now.
You just feel like it. Yeah.
I feel like I'm trying to correct.
I don't feel like it's better than the two that are above it, personally.
So I haven't seen all of your top lists, though I plan on it. But Orb has, I think, some of the best storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
Even
the thing is we're not even arguing about Orb right now.
The thing is, I would put Orb above Freerun is the thing, but like I would put Tokyo Godfathers above Orb. So that's kind of my.
Can we put Orb above Tokyo Godfathers?
Sure, if you guys both agree that it should be above Tokyo Godfathers. With the acknowledgement in the future that when we get to, Paprika and Perfect Blue, those are probably going to knock.
Okay, well, let me tell you this, Geoff. We put Tokyo Godfathers where it is. It's not my favorite Kon movie.
Yeah.
Like,
it's also not my favorite Kon movie either.
It's a really good Kon movie.
I mean, the thing is, it might be my favorite Kon movie, but that's just because, like, it's the only I like watching Christmas movies at Christmas, and it's the only one that I can just watch over and over again and never get bored of. But that's
like DS9.
DS9.
Like DS9.
That's sorry. this is
Tokyo Godfathers is like DS9.
You should stare at the screen every time someone mentions DS9.
Yeah, no. Tokyo Godfathers is like DS9. It's got great characters, some people who are homeless on occasion. It's got religion, both in good and bad ways. I mean, it's perfect.
You can watch the One Piece podcast at Zach. Yeah.
Oh,
sure.
Yeah. One Piece
podcast. You want to pitch?
Oh, yeah, I probably should. Did you choose a place on the list?
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah, we put it in.
Chloe's shaking her head, being like, "Not really." I think we decided that we just put it right above Tokyo Godfathers on the original list and moved nothing else.
Yeah,
that's what I think the decision ended up being.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm very interested to see where this ends up. You can follow me, ZachLogan.com on Bluesky, OnePiecePodcast.com. We have a Patreon. Check that out. I talked about our feature-length movie that's on YouTube. Check out episode 900 with Geoff and Miles, both there. And we also did another episode. I meant to check how many you were on, Miles. I'll do that later. And we also, we talked about like 7 hours ago about Oda's thought process. Steven, our translator, did an episode, 901, where he just read through an interview, which was basically like his self-written memoir. It's really interesting. You should definitely listen to it. I haven't heard anything about this Oda interview anywhere else. And it goes through his history with manga and anime. And I think the three of you, well, Tristan eventually, but certainly Miles and Geoff would be really interested in that. So yeah, thanks for inviting me. I'm a fan. I find podcasters I get more starstruck with, I think, even than anything else, because this is the medium I care about. So I appreciate you having me.
I mean, you say that, but like,
except I knew.
I went to your first panel, when you were like a kid. Yeah, and I won a copy of Jump Stars from you for doing One Piece trivia. Yeah,
we give out good stuff.
Yeah, the point is, right back at you, Zach.
Yeah, we're both starstruck. We'll be okay. Now we could go.
Full Metal Alchemist.
Full Metal Alchemist. Cheap.
Full Metal Alchemist.
Full Metal Alchemist. Next time on Quest for the Best, Momotaro, Sacred Sailors.